Hello again, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, today I bring you a new version of, the updated version of my Skellie Autopop Necromancer. We are gonna be doing a quick corruption while we talk about the build. Um, so essentially you're just popping down Chaos Bolt to get cast speed on them and spell damage based on your mana. And you just shrug. You need to want them on guard currently. Oh, don't show you the gear. But yeah, as you can see, it can very comfortably just farm 300 corruption. You don't need to think too much. Occasionally you might see a champion or some stuff that is a bit more scary. And you can just press 3, in this case, put minions on aggressive and have them deal with it. While you go off screen, almost. But yeah, as you can see, very comfortable. We have a good amount of health, we have a good amount of ward. We really don't need to worry. We can almost face tank everything. Almost. But our recovery is not great. And unfortunately there's something, I don't know if it's a bug or some weird interaction I'm not understanding. But when you use a potion, it should consume always one of the rogues. Or at least should consume a rogue before consuming a mage, but that is unfortunately not exactly working. As you can see, if I pop a pot, occasionally a mage dies. If I have zombies, generally the zombies get it. And we can use that to get... Essentially, if you get low HP, you can just instantly heal with the potion. Yeah, as you can see, very chill. No need to think too much about it. And if you're scared, you can just do this. It works just fine. They will attack the mob off screen and you'll be perfectly safe and fine. And as for the gear that we are sporting at the moment, we have just a Bone Clamor with increased health, a perfectly roll damage redirected with T7 health, evolutions, and which perfectly rolled in skills and good attributes and resists, with minion health. If you needed some minion health, even at E6. Like I got this early on and it's still stuck around because I still haven't got an upgrade. E7 hybrid health. Ideally you want the cleanse as well on potion. I would try to slam a whole bunch of them. I still haven't got them. This one we actually got lucky. We managed to get the T7 ints to slam into it. Unfortunately, it got the health. I can't remember what I was looking for to get. I think it was minion health at the time, or minion damage. But the health is also good. We are playing on hardcore, so hence the big focus on HP. We have a red ring. I went to look for it just for the damage reduction, because we have more than enough attributes to cover it and to make it function. Then we got these very nice swelling of the erased. I was thinking initially of going Eternal Gauntlets, but with this, it's very difficult to justify swapping this for Eternal Gauntlet. Well, since we already have a decent amount of armor. Citadel Boots for our crit reduction. This, along with a passive that gives you 30% crit reduction, essentially caps our crit reduction, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then we go for the Tyrant Skull, because, well, at the point initially I wasn't even thinking of using a Primordial unique. But then I looked at the Tyrannosaur, and since it gives 25 physical damage with spells to minions, it sounded good to me, so I just went with it. And yeah, slammed the T7 Skeletal Mage on it, and that's how we're running the build. Essentially 1 LP items. Yeah, you can just imagine this is 1 LP and just as in, would work just as fine. Then what we have that is based on tech specific for the build on idols is we have 2 of these. Potion to ward conversion idols, because we have the talent over here that will consume a minion, so we effectively can just fully heal our HP. Let me grab an Exanguinus. Exang, so I can show you what I mean. I'll just grab an Exanguinus temporarily, just so we can drop our HP completely. There we go. I'll swap over to the Pelox when we hit really low levels of HP. And here, full HP. So we really don't need the health, the healing from the potion, so might as well just convert it to ward. And then we can just, in an emergency, you can just do that. I'm still debating either I'll go with more what conversion idols, but I think these two are enough. And it still, ideally you want them with crit chance on them like this one. This one is almost perfect. Most perfectly the thing we're looking for. It even has a minion cast speed and minion spell damage. So very nice find. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the past introduction into the build proper. So skills. It's very similar to what we had. The thing is we have more skill points, so we're doing a few more things. Same thing, you prioritize, first things first, you get this so they can spawn out of your zombies. So you get your free volatile zombie spawn. You go convert to get ward instead of health. And here you go for damage, make them jump so they can more easily get to targets, because I was having a bit of an issue when I wasn't using this. I was maxing that out. So we swapped it around to this. We go for the marrow shards on death, not because of the damage, but just so we can apply frailty. And ideally we'd be applying frailty and slow, or at least have a chance to apply frailty and slow whenever one of them died. And here you go for the necrotic, because they get a bit more damage out of it. You could go for the fear. I used to have the fear on other iterations, but I found it to just be an annoyance most of the times, because then they would spread out too much and stuff would go a bit wacky. So I dropped the fear. Skeletons, we went for, it's usually you prioritize getting the mana, so you can get your mana back and essentially be fully capped on mana. Get the summons cast. Oh, before that you go remove the archers. The reason I removed the archers straight away, start with that, is because the archers just stay in place while the warriors chase up after enemies, so it's easier to make sure that they will be hitting stuff if you go with the warriors first. Then you go for the mana replenishment, then you go for the skeleton summon, so you can drop cast speed completely. Because early on the build, when you are running without the extra skellies, you kind of need the cast speed to keep up with your mages. Eventually, you just go start putting points here. Put one until you get 4 mages and a good amount of cast speed on them. Odds are two skeletons at a time is going to be more than enough, even without cast speed, to keep up with how quickly they kill them. If it's not, you just put another point and start summoning 3. Then after that, you go for more maximum number. And then you go here for more maximum number, and then if you have leftover points, you go rogues, and you grab that. In theory, the reason I go rogues instead of warriors is because in theory they should have less HP than my mages. So whenever I pop the potion, it would kill a rogue, prioritize killing a rogue over killing a mage. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working. I might be wrong on my math somewhere, but that's the idea, why I did what I did. Okay, mages. Mages, when you start out, you prioritize getting cast speed, because that's going to be the biggest damage gain. Well, actually I'm getting ahead of myself. First, you go and grab Profane Oblation straight away. That's the most important thing. Then I generally go and grab Death Knights, because I prefer Death Knights. Not only do they have higher base HP, they don't get a damage nerf like mages have, and they used to feel like their AI was just better than I think it was because they were a melee, their target acquisition just worked better than the mages. Then I go for the cast speed. After I get the cast speed, I go for the extra mage. Then I start putting into crit. And then eventually when you get the crit, I don't prioritize this early on, especially now because you do have the passive that will give minions a portion of the health of the minions that die. So with that we can kind of keep them healthy, so this is a very low priority now for me. Then I go for the mana, the damage per mana, and then at the end I go for the crit multi. Dreadshade is essentially the same as it was. You go for the damage, you go for the increased damage. You want to put it affecting you in case you need to cast speed. You can also go into the aura and benefit to be able to keep up with your mages if you reach that point. I don't really, because I'm not using jeweler's gloves, but we'll leave that for the later part. And then we go for the damage chance and increase the area, because why not? You just summon all your minions, plop this down on the mage, and it has a slightly bigger area than if you had put a point there. That's it. That's it, really. And then Chaos Bolt, you go up first. Before anything, you go up and grab this. So you can get cast speed on your mages, which is the most important thing, especially early on. And then spell damage per max mana, which is nice to have, but not as mandatory as prioritizing getting the cast speed early on. Then you can go here to get your zombies exploding for more damage, which is always nice, since you're gonna be weaving in Chaos Bolts on occasion. And then I go down here and I prioritize getting Rip Blood and Harvest, just because it's same logic with the Marrow Shards on the zombies. It's more chances of you applying Frailty and Slow. And Slow I will explain when we go back into the gearing. And here we have Seed of Chaos, just more hits essentially. We could go with this to get curse refreshing, but since we are always applying Mark for Death, kinda whatever. When a minion dies, we apply Mark for Death, kinda whatever. But that's with the skills. Let's go on to the passives now. Okay, passives. So starting out, I started putting points here, but you can also start putting points here just so you can start getting minion armor and minion health based on your vitality. I figured going with int, more damage and everything and more health for you is just better. I prioritize getting hint and getting this. As soon as you have these two nodes, you effectively just breeze through the campaign with this build. The ward gen from this is completely insane. Then after that, you can I picked going for this instead of getting the ward per second per minion, because I figured we had enough ward. So I prioritized getting this. Getting the minion mark for death, because that's a big damage increase, essentially 25% multiplier. Then I went for the minion shred, get the skeletal vanguard on kill, which means more things popping up for the mages to sacrifice. And by that point we can go over here. Here I prioritized getting the attack speed and cast speed. And then I put Moonlight Pyre and started putting points here to River of Bones until I unlocked the Right Upon Death. Maxed out Right Upon Death. Well, we kept putting points on Right Upon Death until we unlock this. Then we put 3 points in here as the major priority, so you can get one more mage. And then it's mostly you'll have to figure out in terms of balancing your stats. Generally you want to go here right away to get more increased crit chance for your minions, depending on how much int you're sporting at a time. Then you'll have to figure out if you should have way more int, so you want to get 3 points here right away. And then you'll have to start figuring out if you want the haste. This is actually really good. The haste on minion kill or death makes you move really quickly. So I would say as soon as you unlock this line, get mages, get Forbidden Teachings, and get Banes of Malice. One thing though, when I'm reaching close to level 50, instead of continuing the Necro tree, what I do is I prioritize going to Warlock and getting 5 points in so you can unlock Chaos Bolt. Okay? Because Chaos Bolt, it's a level 50 investment. Generally, it's what I do, because early on the rest is just better. Chaos Bolt becomes very good at level 50, especially when you start needing to apply Frailty, so you can avoid dying to randomness. But yeah, then you get all of that, or if you feel like you're lacking, that your mana is not good enough, that you lack mana rolls on your staff or whatever, you can just plop points here. You get a bit more int, and then you get a way bigger mana pool, because you'll have a decent amount of int by that time, so you'll effectively be doubling your mana pool if you have no other mana affixes. But yeah, then you prioritize getting that, because that will give, at 7, you'll start getting minion penetration. And since Necro naturally Acolyte overall naturally just overcaps necrotic, you're always getting some sort of penetration for the minions. So it's just more damage for the minions. Yeah, then when you start going on to harder content, you need to start deciding, do you need the damage, do you need the extra crit chance, do you need the crit reduction? It really depends on where you are in the game. And the ward, like the ward per second per minion is nice, right? It gives you a whole lot of ward, don't get me wrong. But generally early on you're fine with just relying on this to keep up baseline ward. The reason this is very good to have is because it gives you a good starting ward. Right? When you're starting out an echo or whatever, you already have this much ward just because you have minions out. That's why I found it good, not for any other reason. And that's why I spec into it. Because I can see an argument to not even spec into it, to be honest. Because when you are going to 4 or 5k of ward just based off minions dying, this becomes kind of irrelevant. So there's that. You can very easily remove this somewhere else, get more HP or get more minion HP, get a bit more damage by going crit multi. In softcore, I'm doing this because this is hardcore based, but in softcore you could very easily drop all of these, right? And just dump them here for more crit multiplier and more damage. Same logic with no, we need to go there for the variants. We'll speak about that on the variants. But yeah, and this is it. This is the full complete. Oh, acolytery. We go for int. We go for the increased minion attack speed. I ended up putting one more point here. I figured, a bit more chance of getting 13 ward is better, probably better than 6% more damage. And then you get the ward retention and resist. And you put 1 point here for the minion armor. You don't need to prioritize it right away, especially early on, because it doesn't give you as much, but whenever you can afford to put a point in here, or if you feel like your minions are kind of squishy, I would just put it down whenever you can. But yeah, that's it for passives. Okay, so moving on, we go for the armor idols and the armor mana. It depends on what you can get, and then it also depends on your resists, how your resists feel, how you think you can need like more this or that resist, what idols you get. Generally prioritizing armor on small idols is a good idea. And here you generally prioritize HP. Then you can get, if you don't get frailty, I got lucky with getting frailty on the glove, so you'd want a frailty idol. HP, ideally, like something like this. You can run 1, you can run 2 or 3, depends on how it will be up to how it feels to you, where you are. You feel like you are applying a good amount of frailty with Chaos Bolt. It's more for boss fights and everything than anything else, and harder mobs. Just safety. You can, in theory, completely forego it in softcore, but generally it's good idea. It's good practice and good idea to have it. This will make it more tanky with very little investment. And then these are the important ones, like I explained earlier. The potion to ward conversion will make sure your potions are useful, and the other passive that gives 50% of minions death on potion usage. Sacrifice a minion, gives you 50% of it as health. It'll just instantly heal you up to full. So might as well, instead of overhealing, just get that as extra ward. So your potion, instead of healing you for 3.8k, it heals you for 5.8k because the potion gets fully converted. I think even more. I'm not too sure on this, to be honest, but supposedly, since we are over 100%, it should heal even more than 1000 ward. But I'm not too sure if it works like that. Either way, ignoring that, it's almost 5k HP a pot. So, yeah. And here I have this because I needed the fire res. I think it's... Personally, I like having armor over the ward gen and the ward retention because I don't feel like it does that much when we are sporting 5k ward in combat to Skellie summoning, and the recovery is not great anyway. You already got the great recovery out of potions with this, so. Okay, blessings. We go here to get our void res. It's just easy to get void res. We could get HP or something, but I think just the void res is just a much better use of the blessing. Here you go all res. You can also go minion all res. The reason I went minion all res is not that I need the res. It's more makes it easier to cap out everything. That's for sure. Also, in terms of numerical value, it's one of the biggest gains in all of the blessing options, and it just gives you damage now, right? Because if you overcap your fire, lightning, and cold res, you're getting. I'm not too sure how that works, but you're either getting 12 penetration or 4% minion penetration. Because I'm not too sure how exactly that calculates. If not, you're still getting 4% minion penetration out of necrotic. So there's that. Here, minion damage. You can go for endurance if you want. If you feel like you need the, if you can't get close to endurance cap. We are not endurance caps. We wanted to, but well, have been unlucky. But yeah, or you can go the endurance or the flat armor if you feel like you want a bit more armor. If not, just go minion damage. Why not? Here, armor. Hands down, it's gonna be armor. I mean, I can also see the argument here to go for the necrotic penetration, the necrotic shred, because will be using chaos bolt, so you can shred necrotic if you go that route, which could be. But I just found this to be more reliable and also good defenses, because now we are overcapping resist, so if you get marked for death, we don't suffer as much. And here you go, mana. It's the single most. It's a single blessing that gives you damage. You can also go ward per second, but again, going back into the whole ward thing, I don't think it's worth it, so I just go for mana for more damage. And here EXP obviously, but that's whatever. And yeah, and that's idols and blessings. Now when it comes to gear, this is what I'm using currently. This is like the easiest way to set up the build and have it run 300 corruption with no issues and without worrying while being completely saved for hardcore. Then there's a few other options you can go about. You can replace this with Death Rattle, which will make you do essentially double the damage or close to it. Here you can replace the red ring into a turquoise. I actually have a really good one, which is going to be another big damage gain. So if you start ripping apart safety, because we don't really need it. If you're going softcore, you don't need it at all. So if say I was doing this as softcore, I'll probably drop the evolutions and go Death Rattle and drop this and go with with a turquoise ring, because we are almost crit capped. Getting another Phantom Grip would not give us that much in terms of damage, while a turquoise with 30% crit multiplier, a bunch of minion damage, minion health, would just be good, would just be way better. And ideally you want the red ring with T7 int as well. And here you'd go for int, you'd go for int there as well, so your health would be a bit lower. Ideally you'd want like T7 hint and increased health, and T7 hint and increased health. That's what I would aim for on both those two. Here you'll want to cleanse more than anything, especially when you start pushing high corruption. The cleanse is just invaluable to cut dot damage, else you're just gonna be melted by dots. And here you'll go Julra gloves with T7 cast speed. That would also make your damage stupidly insane. And then ideally, and this is the difficult one, you want a Blight of Jesus. You want these stats, but on a Blight of Jesus. But that's just a pipe dream, really. Because you would get 2 more mages, you'd get 170 minion damage. You'd get Electrify, which would still be a decent amount of damage, because you are getting penetration and minion damage, it applies to it. It would just be, yeah. Even, I'm guessing even something, if you had like a full T5, not even full T5, 2 T5 plus a mana, or 2 mana plus minion flat, it would probably be better than this. Just because of the 2 skeletal mages and the chance to electrify. And with that and the Jewelry T7, you'll be cast speed, you'll be just popping out Skellies and doing billions of damage. Again, you can always check, like go back to the previous version guide and check Raimi's build. It would just do billions of damage probably at this point with all the new stuff we got from the passives. Because this build already worked well before we had good passives. Now with good passives, it's gonna be insane. Like just this 70% more damage. If you drop these and go there, 70% more damage on your minions. You can really supercharge the damage on this while still keeping a modicum of leaving capabilities, let's say it like that. When it comes to leveling, I think I covered a bit of it while explaining the skills. You can always refer to the original guide I did for this, the version 1 that has a leveling set. I will try to make a max roll planner with all, let's say, targets of gear for a leveling process, so it helps you guys level it and understanding more or less the priorities, what you should prioritize when. But yeah, I think that covers everything. We already did the corruption echo, so I don't think I'm gonna go over it again at the end, and so I guess we're gonna just finish it here. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope I'll see you around in the next one. Alright, bye bye.